to another edition of Developing for Dollars. My name is Mark Casilius, and we are going to talk, well, what we always talk about is developing land, developing projects, different aspects of the development process. We want to inform you on how developers make money, how they maybe even lose money, and of course the process involved. Today's show is probably one of our most challenging ones because we're actually at a site that hasn't even seen a scratch or a dent or anything happening. We are at the corner of Mulcaster and Collier, and we're going to be discussing what I guess is going to be called the new Collier Center. I'm here with a good friend and a colleague, Jonathan Mueller from the Mady Development Corporation. Jonathan, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Mark.
I'd like to, first of all, tell me a little bit about Mady, because I know that some people may not understand sort of, how did Mady Development get involved in Barrie, sort of a little bit of the history of what Mady's all about.
Sure. Mady was started by Charles Mady over 35 years ago in Windsor. It was started as a home building business, and over the last 35 years or so has developed into not only a development company but also a substantial general contracting company. In the late 70s through the 80s, did a lot of work in the Windsor area. In the early 90s, went down to Dallas, Texas,
Wow.
where we still have an office.
Great.
And in early 2000s, we made the move up to Toronto.
Are you still, we all kind of hear about what's happening with Windsor currently. Do you still have an office in Windsor?
We still maintain an office there.
Any action going on down there?
Very little to speak of.
Yeah.
Our head office is now located in the GTA,
Okay.
and the majority of our work is in the GTA area.
Now, Jonathan, you're the Vice President of Sales and Marketing, but I know you've been with Mady, pretty much early in your career. Tell us a little bit about you and, sort of your background.
Sure. I started with Mady in the summer of 2002
Okay.
as a summer student in university. I studied urban development at the University of Western Ontario.
Okay.
And stayed with Mady through my university years. And shortly after graduating, they asked me to come on full-time. I worked on the general contracting side and on the development side in the planning
Wow.
department
Good for you.
as a project manager for a number of years ago, and then recently took on this role of managing the sales and marketing.
Excellent. How are you enjoying it?
It's great. It's a big challenge. We have a lot on the go.
I bet.
So learning lots every day, but it's a great job.
So today, let's talk. We have an interesting site here where, as I mentioned, there isn't a lot going on. I'm aware that that this process was. How did Mady actually get this site? Like I use the word RFP, but I don't think some of our viewers may not understand what an RFP process is. Can you discuss a little bit of what that means?
Sure. So the city of Barrie owns this property behind us here, and they put out a request for proposal.
That's the RFP, request for, okay.
Yeah,
now there is a thing called an RFQ. Is there a difference between the two? Or?
There may be, but I'm only familiar with the
Okay.
request for proposal.
Okay.
So they put out a request for proposal to developers, essentially. They provide general parameters of what they're looking for. With this one, I believe they wanted to maintain the grocery store element of the site.
Yep.
They wanted it to be mixed use, so retail, office or commercial, and residential.
So when you say that do they advertise it? Did they put a big sign up? Like and so a lot of developers, and
Yeah.
then how does that process work a bit?
It is advertised. You'll see them sometimes in the newspaper.
Okay.
And they will send out letters to developers,
Sure.
that are active in the area as well. So we came across the RFP one way or the other, and the first step for us is I think we need to make a decision. In-house, is this something that, is it something we're comfortable with? Is this something that we feel we can do?
Would you then in the process would have done some studies or some marketing to say, hey, we're gonna invest millions into Barrie, which is basically what you guys are doing. But before you even apply for the process, would you have already done some studies? And things?
No, I think the first thing when the RFP comes across our desk, we look at it and say, A, is this something we're comfortable with? B, what they're looking for. Will the market support what they're looking to do here? And then I think the next step is we go out and we meet with consultants, whether that's a marketing consultant who's going to look at the market for us, and then sit down with architects and engineers and really develop the project to submit the proposal.
Jonathan, you're touching on so many excellent topics I want to bring you to. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back at Developing $4.